I am Vinnie Tortorich, and folks, you know what that means when I say I am Vinnie Tortorich. You know what that means? That means that it's the Monday show. And if it sounds like I'm fake, enthusiastic, happy, well, that's bullshit because I'm really happy because it is the Monday show. And I'll tell you why in just a second. But first, I want to tell you guys your good intentions have been stolen. But don't worry. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you get them back. And you may be soft and succulent when you pop in to visit this podcast for the first time. But if you hang in there, before long, you will be lean and mean. Guarantee or your money back. It's a free podcast, so you won't be getting a whole lot of money. I'm not a stimulus check, bitch. Yeah, that's right. You're going to get no money back because you didn't pay any money for this podcast, but I guarantee you'll be lean and mean. She is lean and mean, and for some reason, she shows up every week on Monday. Folks, I'm talking about the beautiful, wait, she's drinking right now. Let's give her a second. If you guys were watching a video, you would know that Anna was drinking coffee or something. Miss Anna Vocino, how you doing, Pumpkin? Oh, she forgot how to turn her mic on.
I don't know how to do things.
Anna, you talk into a mic for a living.
Yeah.
And you forgot to turn your mic on. Yeah, that's
I didn't forget. I just didn't time it out well. I have what they call poor timing.
Remember when, Anna, when people used to say, that's my job? Because that's longer. That's not abbreviated, folks. That's longer than saying job. I never understood why we did that. Everything else is
it must have missed us Gen Xers.
Oh no.
Wait, are you Gen X or are you a boomer? Gran Torino?
I'm neither. I've talked about.
You're 65. No.
I'm 64.
Wait, when were you born?
I was born in 62.
Boomer. So, you're a boomer. You're a boomer.
So, yeah, I think technically they call us boomers, but I've talked about this before, and it bears repeating here, folks. If you want to learn something, as a matter of fact, I told this to Serena early on in our relationship, and she was like, wow, well, really? You're that deep in your thinking? And I was like,
you're named Vinny. Guys named Vinny aren't that deep of thinkers. Vinny,
and you're thinking like that?
Oh.
I'm all confused now. I may actually have sex with you. You know, I think that's how I got it.
That's how you get them.
I confused her.
Right in the brain.
But here's what happened, Anna. We were out doing something. We were like on a bike ride or something. It was early on. We're just kind of courting around, that kind of thing. This is like 15 years ago. And
sports stuff together.
And we were talking. She was like, what's Gen X and what's, millennial didn't exist yet, that term. Right. It's like Gen X, blah, 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 blah.
They were called Gen Y at that point.
And
the millennials.
Right. Yeah, they just gave them a different letter in the alphabet. You're right. But she was asking.
Because I was Gen X and then they were the next generation.
So she said, do you feel like we're part? They didn't call us boomers at the time. At the time, they were calling, look, in the 80s, they were calling them 30-somethings. Well, we weren't 30-somethings. We were late 20-somethings. And they even had a TV show called 30-something. I'm not making that up. Do you remember that show, Anna?
Oh, yeah.
It's called 30-something. And it was a bunch of people.
About the yuppies.
Yeah, they were yuppies. They were drinking wine and complaining about everything. My BMW is broken and I don't know what to do. It was just a whiny group of people. And Serena goes, well, we weren't the yuppies, right? Yuppie stood for upwardly mobile, young
upwardly.
Yeah, jerk me off, successful. And
yeah.
They were like this first kind of generation of, hey, we're all going to wine tastings and we're all driving BMWs and we're so effing cool. We don't know what to do with ourselves. And it was the early days of where they put less food on your plate. Like you would go to a restaurant, and it was like they would give you like a little tiny piece of meat and they would drizzle shit all over it and made it look like artwork. I mean, the 80s, women wore.
But it was probably just like liquid raspberry jelly or something. It wasn't even anything that exciting because it was. Know what it was. It was. I'm moving my light around. I'm going to figure this out.
Anna's getting all pretty over there. So if you're watching a video, I
just want to make sure
Anna get prettier as she goes. That you look hot there, Anna.
That's better. Okay. See, lighting is everything.
Wait, Anna, hang on. Before I finish my story, go back to the other way. Let's see what you looked like before. Can you move it back?
Yeah.
Move it back and okay, let's see what happens.
My coffee all over the equipment that I overpaid for.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
See, that's like I'm being interrogated.
Okay.
I did the crime. Now I'm going to do the time.
Don't do the crime.
The only reason I'm moving it is because there's a shadow from the.
All right, now Anna, move it back the other way. Okay. Yeah, you are like you're in LA6 when it's on the other side, but when you move it to this side,
I'd be lucky to be in LA6 anytime. Yeah. I'd be lucky to be a 6 anytime in any state.
Stop being self-deprecating. You know you're hot.
No.
You know that
Thank
about
you.
yourself, right?
I'll receive your compliment. Thank you.
Go ask Marie. She'll tell you you're.
Oh no, she knows, but she's a little biased. That's what happens when you send people free sauce. They say you're so pretty.
Yeah, no, not Marie.
Thank you for my soul. Oh, Vinnie, that Anna's so pretty.
She mentioned that. I was home last weekend, and she did mention that.
Did you get rid of your truck?
Oh yeah, I'll get. I'll tell. Write that down, Anna. We'll tell that.
Write it down.
Yeah, truck. Let me write it right.
Tell the truck story.
Okay, so now
the truck date.
Anna, I have a note for this show. It says, "You ready for? I'm going to read the note."
Okay.
It says truck. It says truck. Okay.
Is that the note you just wrote?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So I'm writing notes. I'm producing, Anna. So anyway, Serena, we were like a bike ride or whatever, just casually and the whole thing. And she goes, we're not like yuppies, right? And we're trying to talk about the yuppies. We were like 44, 45 at the time. I was probably 44. She was 45. And I said, no, we're not that. And we're not Gen Xers. She goes, well, how do you classify us? And I said, we're nobody. And she goes, is that how you feel about yourself? I said, no. I don't. Of course I don't. I said, we are a nowhere generation. We do not exist as a generation. I said, technically we're baby boomers, but we're so tail end of the baby boomer that we're not that. And she goes, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, think about it. Madison Avenue advertises to groups of people. And this plays into what this podcast is all about. We do diets and we do trends and we do everything based on what Madison Avenue tells us to do or be or what we should be or how we should be. And, this was not news to me. This was not anything new to me. And I said, look, we're not those people at all, not even a little bit. I said, Madison Avenue just looked at us and went, you know what? We, radio, you got to fit into the demo, the 23 to 33 or whatever, Coddington will tell you. But guess what? That's not even working anymore for radio and television and all of that because everyone's all over the place.
Which, by the way, I never understood that because you know who doesn't have any money to spend on anything? Somebody who's 22 to 30.
Yeah, 22 to 30 have no money to spend, but that's the audience they want to grab. And so anyway, I'm telling her this and I said, we're the nowhere generation. And she goes, well, what does that mean? I said, we're no one. Madison Avenue never, ever looked at us and went, oh yeah, we need to get that group of people. We need to get them under our wing. They just went right over us and went to you, Anna. They went to your generation too.
But see, I never felt like Gen X was very sold to. And I feel like when Gen X came up, we were the apathetic generation. We were the ones of the grunge rock. You know what I mean? The Kurt Cobain generation.
Right.
And so they couldn't sell to us. They had to make it look like they weren't selling.
Well, that was the sales pitch.
And then they kind of skip over. And now whenever there's articles about generations, they never even mention Gen X. But you don't mention us at all. Anna,
you guys were sold to. The 80s had women wearing shoulder pads and glamour and too much starch in the hair.
But that wasn't my generation. No, I was the 90s.
You guys came right behind that.
Yeah.
Everybody wore a shirt kind of like the one I have on right now.
Exactly.
It was tattered. And they wore grungy. It was the grunge thing. And the music was, hey, I'm going to kill myself rock. Right. That's what it was. It was like, hey, man, we don't care about life. Kurt Cobain was the ultimate because he killed himself. Right.
Right.
And Pearl Jam came at that time and say, hey, man, I don't care. I'll just wear this. I'm a multi-bazillionaire and I'll wear crap for clothes. That, if you don't think that was sold to you, you have another.
Oh, it definitely was.
Job they did. That's how hard they sold you guys. You don't even think you were sold to. But my generation.
But now we're definitely ignored. Now they're like, we don't care about you. But I'm like, we finally have money to buy things.
Yeah, and they've moved on to the next group.
That's right.
Which I will be talking about today because when I talk about the truck, because I have something to say about it. I really have something to say about something I saw when I was on the road, Anna.
Well, and by the way, whenever, and this is pre-pandemic, whenever I'd be in New York, because New York's a great place to get like a snapshot of what's going on in cities because it's all kinds of people thrown up together, you know? And I couldn't believe the amount of young people in New York at expensive restaurants with like expensive eyeglasses and expensive sweaters. And I was like, you know, and they're maybe 28 to 32 years old. And I was like, how do these young people get all this money? I didn't have any money when I was that age. I don't understand. Maybe they're charging it up. Maybe it's their parents' money, but I guess they're being sold to.
Look, I watched, speaking of my generation, about 6 or 8 months ago, I was on the spinner and I watched St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah.
And it shows, that's my generation. It shows what was going on in the 80s. And I'd forgotten a lot of it because
that movie's it doesn't really hold up.
No, it doesn't hold up. But, you know, like, what's her name? Demi Moore is trying to get ahead and she's like sleeping with the boss and coking it up every night. And, you know, this guy can't get his shit together and he's going to marry the rich girl just because she's the rich girl. All that stuff used to go on in the 80s. It was like, how do I get my leg up? You know, marry the rich girl or don't marry the rich girl, or, you know, get this girl to blow me in the front seat of my Jeep. Well, back then Jeeps didn't have back seats because they only had front seats.
That's right.
Back in my day. But that was the whole thing of that movie. It was eye-opening in a way. It was like, wow, that is a slice of what was going on at the time. Right. It really was. But it's funny how much everything has changed. You should watch that movie. And you're right, Anna. It doesn't hold up.
I watched it in the past few years. It doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
But other ones like that do. I didn't think Pretty in Pink held up, but I do think Breakfast Club and 16 Candles both hold up, with the exception of the absolute racist jokes. In most of them, they all have racist jokes. We just did racist jokes back then.
Bottom line, everything from 1980s is now considered right. I mean, Long Duck Dong, that joke
Long Duck Dong, exactly.
It ran through the whole movie, the entire movie. You know, they did that joke, the drunk guy from.
Oh yeah, where every time he entered the stage, a gong played.
A gong, yeah, there was a gong.
Yeah.
Half that movie you could not do today.
No.
Bottom line, you know, what's his name trying to sell? What's her name's underwear?
Oh, Anthony Michael Hall. And
you can smell her underwear.
Oh, 16 Candles. That's right. I was thinking Weird Science for a second, but it was 16 Candles.
I mean, all of that stuff. I mean, that was just part of movies just not 5 minutes ago. You know what I didn't see in that movie, Anna? 16 Candles? I didn't see Belcampo because Belcampo wasn't around back then.
You can't create a time machine and go back in time and tell John Hughes that he should do product placement with Belcampo. It can't happen. Right. John Hughes is dead, number one.
Right. He and his pencil thin mustache is gone. Right. Gone. Weird mustache. That guy was creepy. He looked like he belonged in a white van.
Sure.
He did. Driving around the high school, which I'm sure he did. Anyway, Belcampo, Belcampo, Belcampo.com. They got all the good stuff. They got the meatballs. Get those. They're NSNG friendly meatballs.
Oh yeah.
And I had a strip from Belcampo last night that I'm still thinking about tonight.
Oh, I would dream about it.
Yeah, I did.
I would dream about it.
I got a little damp in the pants dreaming about Belcampo meat. I'm not going to lie.
Damp in the pants.
Good. Yeah. You know, Anya came in and said, "Hey, would you like some meat?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I need some meat." And she slapped a big sirloin on the grill. She charred it up. She served it to me with just salt on it, the way I like it. It was nice and red in the middle, charred on the outside.
Yeah.
She did it on an open flame up at the farm. And then I woke up.
These beef back ribs look really, I'm upset because I really want to eat these. I'm hungry.
You should have done what I did. I had something to eat before the podcast, Anna.
I'm having leftover chicken tikka masala that I made last night, but let me tell you what, you should get their chicken too, because it's not just about their beef. They got the hold on.
I think I told you the first time she sent me food as a thank you for coming on the podcast. She sent chicken. I was like, cook this first. Let's get this one out of the way. It was the best chicken I ever had.
Well, they have the bone-in skin on chicken thighs, which is perfect for the lemony chicken thighs, which is my all-time favorite easy weeknight meal to make. And by the way, is it Susie DeMeester? You know her from the group, right? And she works in the cattle industry.
She turned me on to a lot of people, including Temple Grandin.
Yes.
On the private show.
Well, she warned us on a Clubhouse that there is going to be a chicken shortage. So go to Belcampo and get your chickens. Get your chickens, put them in your meat freezer.
And wait, you want to save money on that chicken?
Yes.
And all the
yes,
beef
I do.
And everything else, the meatballs? Vinnie, promo code Vinnie, VINNIE, no wimpy Y. You get 20% off. Boom. Every single time. Not every time, first time order. Now that's a loss leader, folks. They are not making money. They're losing money on that. If you've done it, go talk to your neighbors, do it again, make a bigger order. I'm shocked that they're letting me get away with this for this long. I thought they would move me back to the 10% thing.
Just
20%.
Don't
say, hey, Vinnie told us that. Just put in the promo code.
Hey, don't write them and be like, hey, are you guys still doing that thing? Don't.
Yeah, you're still doing that, Vinnie, 20%. Don't
ask them.
Don't ask. I've now been to 3 different neighbors going, hey, can you honor this for me and get whatever you want?
You need to keep creating emails. It's Vinnie Tortorich 001.
I got 30
Vinnie Tortorich
IP
002.
Yeah, I got 30 IP address.
Yeah.
So Belcampo, Belcampo, get you 20% off. Free shipping over $100 if it totals $100 after the discount. So you got to get like $125. You'll be over $100 with the discount, with the 20% discount. And you'll get free shipping. Bada bing, bada boom.
Their grass-fed brisket that I got and their grass-fed standing rib roast, otherwise known as prime rib, the 2 of the best roasts I've ever purchased in my entire life. Beats the pants off of like Whole Foods fancy roasts.
Anna, you remember Leona Jagger?
Jaeger?
Is it Jaeger or Jagger?
It's Jaeger. Remember, you called her Jaeger, and I thought it was Jagger. And then you're like, no, it's Jaeger. And I was like, Leona, you're my friend. How do you say your name? And she's like, Jaeger. And I was like, oh.
Well,
so you were right. And now you're mispronouncing it.
Yeah, now I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
You know what? She I saw a tweet earlier today. She's going to tell me every song that was on that jukebox up at the campsite.
She's got to work. Why are you making her do all this?
I'm making her. She offered this, Anna. I need to know these songs. I want to know what was on that jukebox back in the 80s up at Jaeger Camp.
Yeah, Camp Jaeger.
Camp Jaeger. I wonder if this song, now I'm thinking of this song. Sorry, Bill. You know this song? I'm going to be moving like Leona Jaeger.
Mm-hmm.
Once I get those songs, I'm going to play them every week until we've played every song on that jukebox.
The Jaeger selection of the week?
Yeah, I'm going to call it the Jaeger selection.
Okay.
Yeah, there's going to be a new thing I'm going to do. I can't wait. I'm going to be moving.
Be great.
Like
but Bill is looking forward to editing out all of those songs.
He cannot wait. I'm going to be moving like Jaeger. Yeah.
You want me to read you a question yet? Or are you going to talk about truck?
Let me talk about truck.
Okay.
In order to talk about truck, I got to talk about airport. That's where
so much transportation.
So, as you know, Ford, held to their promise of they will send me home to pick up my Ford truck. Now, I had to leave the truck there to get back here to go back to work. But I sold the truck. I traded in on a Toyota, and I still had to go get my Toyota. So Ford honored that. It's like, hey, you had to go pick up your car, and I traded it in at a dealership down. That's why I was getting a car down there. Otherwise, they sell Toyotas where I live. I could have bought one here, but I was able to get the tax savings on trading it in there, and boom. So, and for the price of that truck, it was a significant savings on taxes on the new car. So Ford flew me down there. Thank you, Ford. Anna,
Mm-hmm.
it was the first time I was on a plane in a year and a half.
I haven't been on a plane since November 2019.
I think that was, around probably January. About January. So it's been a long time that I was on a plane, January 2020. A few observations.
Okay.
People got much fatter in the last year. Society is just a slice of life, right?
Yeah.
So I live in a college town, and everyone that lives around me is, youthful or very old, and, the old school, people in their 80s, a lot of them are still thin. The people that live in my neighborhood all seem to be lean and healthy and see and whatnot. And the people I'm around, I just see
your town is a cosmopolitan small town. It's
a weird town, and there's a lot of college kids running every day. I see them running and holding. So
yeah,
I'm not used to seeing, they're overweight people within that group.
Sure.
So I haven't really been anywhere in the past year. I went to Louisiana. I was there with my mom. I go to, as you know, my only outing every day is the shooting club. I go and shoot skeet, and I come right back home and go to work. So I haven't been out there in a while. I got in the airport, the small Charlottesville airport. And of course, there's all college kids going home to see mommy and daddy. So all of those people were fit on that small airplane. But I wasn't looking like, I didn't go, oh, look at all the fit people. I wasn't thrown. Right. But as if the plane opened up in Atlanta, I had to take a second flight, and there was an hour, maybe a 90-minute layover, and I had to walk because it's never the next terminal. It's, you got to go from here 2 miles over, and you got to get on the tram and go here and everything else. So I'm walking, right. And I'm in Atlanta, one of the biggest hubs in the nation, if not.
I think it's the busiest airport in the nation, or at least it was before pandemic.
It was hard to find because at first I'm looking around going, is it just me, or did people gain more? And I know, because statistics tell us people gained a lot of weight with the pandemic, but man, people are huge. They're huge. This is not good. I started looking around for anyone who was of average weight and build. It was not that many. Yeah. It was not that many. And when I finally got to my gate, I'm getting on a bigger plane, and there's a big plane coming in right to the gate next to that. So that area was full of people, right? And I started looking around. I'm looking around, and I was saddened and dismayed at what's going on in this country. If we think the pandemic was a problem, think again. Think again. Yeah. We were going to get to this anyway without a pandemic. We were heading in that direction. We're there, folks. We're there.
It's going to be a hot mess.
I started looking around trying to find the thin person, right? Yeah. And they seem to come in families. I don't know if it's genetic, but I saw this woman, and she looked like her two daughters. They looked like high school age or whatever, this kind of thing. And they were all very fit looking. Looks like mom kept herself together, and the two kids, one of them had such and such volleyball, so obviously an athlete on her shirt, and you could tell they were both athletes or whatever. Okay. So you would see that. But I'm not talking about people who are really fit like that family. Usually you see the middle class of health, right? The person that has no weight to lose, the person that might have 10 or 15 pounds to lose. That's fucking gone, man. That's gone. That was not in the Atlanta airport. Now I get it. Atlanta is in Georgia. Georgia's in the South. And we know that there are more fat people in the South than anywhere else in the country.
Yeah, but it's also a lot of people just passing through on other
flights.
Through.
That's right. That's what I kept telling myself. These people aren't staying here. They're going somewhere else. Just like me, they're passing through.
Yeah.
And what's happened in this pandemic, people who were just on the fence are now morbidly obese. And if we think the pandemic was the biggest problem, it's not. This is something that no one talks about except me, right? And look, am I mad? Yes, I'm mad. I am very mad because this is us, folks. This is our generation. This is the time we're living in, and healthcare can't keep up now. You think it's going to keep up? Fatty liver disease, heart disease, type 2 diabetes. You think we're going to keep up? You think, I was yelling about this months ago on this podcast. Oh, wait, what's going on? Hey, you take our drug, metformin, you'll get your A1Cs down to 7. 7? 5.
Is that the Trulicity?
Yeah, Trulicity or one of them. I can't remember which one it was. 7.
Get it down to 7.
5.6
Guaranteed.
means
Guaranteed. You'll
guaranteed.
still have type 2 diabetes.
We will get you down to sick. You can, and by the way, what do they have these doctors telling patients? Oh, never mind. You go eat all the cake and ice cream you want. Just take this Trulicity and you can get down to sick. Sick, Anna. And that's making me sick because, as we know, 5.6 is diabetic. That's where limb chopping starts, folks. That's right. Go watch my first movie. That's where fucking limb chopping starts at 5.6. Sure, it won't happen to you at 5.6. And sure, it would take a lot of years to get there. But you know where it happens? At 7, while you're on a drug. They can't even make a drug to get you back to underneath. This is bullshit. It's complete bullshit, and they know it. And here's the other problem. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Here, I have another phone here. This shit right here. This is killing us. Every person, Anna, sitting there slumped over the whole time. I'm the only one that was looking around, looking at people. Right. And by the way, I'm not better than thou. But I'm out for once. I'm looking around. I was looking for a Starbucks. They're all closed. They were closed in the airport. 6 o'clock in the evening. You know what you could buy in the airport? Alcoholic beverages. Fine. Coffee.
Why is Starbucks
no way.
Closed?
I don't know.
They close in the evening?
I guess they had a couple of guys sweeping up. I said, can you pour me? He goes, no, we're closed, man. We're closed. 6 o'clock, closed, done. But what can I could? I could
I'm
get
surprised anything
beverage.
was open in the airport because a lot of places that nothing's open in the airports.
Well, you could get alcohol there. So I'm sitting around looking at this.
By the way, that's the South. You can get alcohol anywhere.
Yeah. Doing this, not looking up, looking at the goddamn 2x4 piece of glass. This is not good. This is not good at all. We are not moving in a good direction. Look, I went through most of my life without ever seeing one of these fucking things. If you're watching a video, I'm holding up a cell phone. Not one. I never saw one of these. They didn't exist. Guess what? Guess what we did? We made it through life. We made it through life just fine. If you think we're moving in a good direction, we are not.
What happened to your camera?
I have no idea. I think I yelled it off.
I was going to make a joke and start just tuning out on my phone while you did that, but now
I think I yelled it to go off. I
yelled
literally
too loudly.
But it's driving me nuts, Anna. It's driving me nuts because people go, what do you care? You're healthy. Guess what? It ain't about me. It's about us, folks. We're a society.
Who would say, what do you
And
care?
we're
You're
failing.
healthy. That's the whole reason we're here.
All I do is care. That's my job. I've turned my passion into a job, right?
Yeah.
It's all I do. I talk to people. I do consults every day, every single day. Well, I used to do them 7 days a week. And then Serena said, you know what? You need time for yourself. I took Saturdays off. And now, I took Sundays. Then I started taking Saturdays. 5 days a week, all I do is talk to people all day long. That's how my day is filled. When I come off that skeet field, I'm on the phone on the way home. I'm on the phone talking to people about their health every single day. Every day. I could be writing another hit book, make a lot of money. I could be doing movies and everything else, just plopping out podcasts, making money. I'm on the phone talking to people. I'm on Twitter helping people. I'm trying to do my best, but goddamn, man, we are in trouble. We're in big trouble, and we need to change fast, very, very fast.
By the way, I went today because I'm in a new place. I went today to the dentist for the second visit, but the first time seeing the actual dentist, not just for cleaning. And many years ago, before NSNG, I was starting in with the recession, the gum recession.
Yeah.
And then I did NSNG, and then I show up and the gums are not only are they not receding anymore, but they've gone back. And my old dentist was like, I don't believe that happened. That has never happened. And I said, if you measured it before and it was receding, and you measured it again and it is not only not receding, but has grown back, I didn't do anything other than NSNG. That's it. Full stop, end of story. And she says, well, it's not medically possible. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you, because I didn't go have gum surgery behind your back, because I would not do that, because I'm a weenie.
What? It's a very common thing I hear from people. People have been NSNG for a long time, eating more meat. They'll tell me, my dentist is telling me that they can't understand what's going on here.
Well,
and by the way, I haven't heard this once, twice, or three times over the past. I've been doing these phone calls for 7 or 8 years. But once a week, that's one of the things I hear. You don't think about it until you have to go to the dentist for a cleaning, and they're like, oh, you're now, and I'm 48 now. So 8 years ago would have been turning 40, that age where shit starts to go south. Right.
If you're not on your shit, And so she couldn't believe it. So now I switched to a new dentist, and first of all, she was like, your teeth are really white. And I was like, thanks, I brush them. She goes, you don't bleach them? I go, no, I don't bleach my teeth.
People think I bleach look, Anna, look at my teeth.
I know. I'm like, I don't bleach my teeth. I don't need to.
I drink coffee, pure coffee.
That's what I said.
All day long.
And I do brush my teeth during the day too, mostly because I just don't like coffee taste in my mouth.
I smoke 2 packs a day with filters. Look at this.
I rub brown dye on my teeth, and look at my teeth.
While I'm smoking my cigarette,
while I'm smoking cigars,
I drink tea and I swish it in my mouth.
I dunk my tea. I go like this.
Yeah. Anna puts tea in her mouth.
Can you believe it?
Anna puts tea in her mouth. Sleep. As a matter of fact,
I sleep with like a mouth guard full of tea.
Yeah. She puts a gel. She makes a gel with tea.
And look at my teeth. NSNG, you guys.
Look at that. You want to see mine again? Look. Yeah. Yeah. Anna, my whole life.
All I'm saying is she was talking about it, commenting on it. And I was like, well, I don't eat any sugars or grains. And then she starts to do some stuff. And then she goes, oh, so you don't eat gluten? And I was like, hold on. I'm going to get real clear with you. I do not eat gluten, but I also do not eat grains. I do not eat potatoes, corn, rice, pasta, breads, any of that stuff. And sugar. I don't eat anything with sugar in it. I eat meat and vegetables, and on a rare occasion, some fruit and nuts. That's what I eat. And she looked at me like, that's crazy. And I go, and in fact, I don't even eat dairy and eggs because my body type with the autoimmune, I can't handle it. And she goes, well, gum disease is also a disease of inflammation. And I know that you think of it as being a tooth decay issue to not eat sugar, but she goes, it's a gum thing. It's going to help your gums to not do that. So obviously keep it up. And I'm telling you, nothing is more sobering than sitting in that dentist chair and having them tell you a bunch of shit is wrong.
Yeah.
And it could be prevented by just don't have sugar and grains.
Anna, I had a bunch of cavities as a kid.
Me too. And I have terrible teeth, by the way. I have crowns and root canals, and I had cavities all the time as a kid. They had to coat my teeth with, they said you weren't born with enough enamel on your molars. That's what they told me.
Well, here's the deal. I was never a soft drink drinker as a kid. I've never liked soft drinks. So I wasn't better than thou. Never drank soft drinks. The occasional candy bar, that kind of thing. Right. Mm-hmm. Never been, my thing was like, if there was like cake or ice cream, like once a week, that I saw, but every time I would go visit Dr. Teddy Edwards, family friend and our dentist, his son, Glenn, was my good friend, grew up together. And, Dr. Edwards, he would go, man, every time I came, you got another cavity. And I'm like, Doc, I brushed my teeth like 3 times. I'm the kid that brought a toothbrush to school because I couldn't stand, And I've been a lifetime flosser. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. And he said, as you know, I was into health and fitness from the time I was a kid. And what did I always hear? Apple a day, doctor away. So if I hear apple a day, doctor away, what did I do? If one apple is good, 3 have to be better. And so one day, Dr. Edwards says, I always see you chomping on apples. I went, yeah, they're cheap. And my mom buys a lot of them. He was like, well, between the sugar and the acid, that fruit was what was causing. The one thing they told us, have 5 servings of a day.
Right.
I haven't had a cavity, Anna, since probably my 15th birthday. Since Dr. Edwards said, stop eating. So did I keep eating apple? Yeah, on occasion. I didn't have 3 a day. I got away from fruit back then, stuck with my broccoli. I've always been a broccoli, stuck with my turnips. I've always loved turnips, stuck with my onions. But I understood when you eat any kind of sweet vegetation, like a fruit, you need to floss and you need to get that shit out of your mouth because the acid and the sugar
sit and attract the bacteria and the things. And
so then you got to ask yourself, okay, if this is bad for my teeth,
what's it doing to my pancreas?
What else is it fucking up?
What's happening in my liver?
What's happening?
What's happening in my liver?
Exactly, Anna. So that bottom line, Dr. Edwards, back when I was 15 years old, I haven't had a cavity since, nothing but cavities up until that point, and then no cavities. Come on. And by the way, I've had, in LA, all my famous clients would say to me, which teeth whitener do you use? And I was like, none. Come on.
Crest white strips that are like when Crest white strips first came out, I have them still. Because I tried them one time and they hurt my teeth so bad. I have very sensitive teeth.
Right.
And they hurt my teeth so bad that I was like, I guess I'll use these if I have to. But I was like, screw it.
Yeah.
Because at the time I was like, I guess I'll just have yellow teeth because I can't handle that. And I'm good.
No, Anna, you have perfect teeth. You have perfect teeth.
She did try to sell me on some Invisalign, and I was like, "No, I'm good. I don't care. I don't care about having some crooked teeth."
Dentists are always trying to sell people.
Oh yeah, there's always something. You need to have the mouth guard, and you chew on your teeth. I'm like, okay, that's or whatever it is. I'm like, yeah. If you were trying to get the word out to people like Vinny and I are, you'd grind your teeth too.
I grind them all the time, man.
All day long, all night long.
Anna, you know what else I do?
What's that?
You see this? You know what's in this cup? Oh, by the way, Scott Mulvaney gave me this cup for Christmas.
Is it the same thing that's in my cup?
I have purecoffeeclub.com coffee in here.
Me too. And guess what it is, Vinny? Have you been listening?
What?
What do I have in my cup?
Espresso. No.
What flavor purecoffeeclub.com coffee do I have in my cup?
Oh, double French.
There, see, it only took 2 years of telling you that's my favorite one.
That's why I said espresso. I was wondering if because most people will take the double French to make their espresso.
No, I did the drip. I did the drip in the Bonavita, and I saved it from yesterday because I had this much left over, and I put a cover on it, and I put it in the fridge, and I literally just took it out, put ice in it, and a tiny little bit of I have to do almond milk. Sorry, folks, but a tiny little bit. I know. It's fine.
Wait, hang on. Public service announcement, folks. Do not be like Anna. Do not
just drink it black. I'm too much of a weenie.
Oof.
But it's my favorite.
I'm using my house blend, but
it's so smooth.
I did an espresso with it.
Here's the thing. This is from yesterday morning, Vinny.
I know.
I do this with other brands of coffee and they suck balls.
Well, you see, when you get my coffee, it's fresh when you get it. It's still hot from them roasting it. I do small batches over and over and over. It's, go to purecoffeeclub.com. It's my coffee. I came up with these roasts. I procure beans from around the world. And then I sit there. I used to sit on my front porch in LA and with my roaster and come up with these recipes. And that's what you're enjoying at home. By the way, we did something I said I would never do. We have a decaf, but it's done with Swiss Mountain, Swiss
water process,
and we call it Swiss Mountain Decaf.
So I'm going to get that
Decaf.
because Big Al is coming to town and he only drinks decaf. And so I'm going to
Oh,
get him on that.
You know what? Get him on and say, hey, Al, you know who came up with this?
Oh,
Vinny.
Please. He's already the biggest Vinny fan. He'll like freak out.
Yeah. Tell Big Al about it.
Is that right? Oh,
yeah.
Is that right? I'll have to order some. Okay. Yeah. I, by the way, I was carrying on about the double French the other day. And then Lauren goes, we should try the honey process. Like as if he'd been listening to you give me a hard time. And I was like, are you fucking with me? Are you just saying, did Vinny put you up to that? And he's like, no, I was just thinking we should try the honey process. And I was like, Anna, okay, then we will, since you're pushing your honey process agenda on me when you know I love my double French.
Anna, there's very little honey process in the world. And we keep it on tap all the time. And again, it's done fresh right there. I mean, when you get it, it was done like a few days before, boom, you're getting
By the way, people don't believe me. I am a subscriber to Pure Coffee Club, to Pure Vitamin Club. I get regular to the nut butters. I get all of them. I pay retail like everybody else. I'm a subscriber. That's how much I love your products.
Yeah.
Nobody believes me. Doesn't Vinny? No, I subscribe.
Anything. Yeah. So go check it out, purecoffeeclub.com. You'll love what we have there. And I want to thank Scott Mulvaney. Look at this cup he gave me for Christmas. It's a Yeti cup. And it's
that's awesome.
It says ultra fat on one side. You turn it around and it says NSNG Foods.
That's Scott Mulvaney. Right?
He's something else, that guy.
He'd make a really good boyfriend. He's a thoughtful
guy. Married, Anna, but if his wife.
No, but I'm saying to either one of us, if you or I need a boyfriend, Scott Mulvaney should be our boyfriend.
Let's say Scott and his wife went canoeing one day and she fell out of the boat and they never found her again.
Christ. And you're so dark with these things. Can't you just live in pretend world where Scott's both of our boyfriend and like everything's fine, like nobody has to die in the process? Like
I'm always killing somebody off.
You were always have to kill them off because by the way, that's how morally centered you are. You're like somebody has to die.
Exactly. How many times has Lauren accidentally walked off of a cliff?
Serena, like people have to die. And by the way, that's a deep-rooted Italian thing because Lauren once said to me, because he said something super dumb years ago, and I was just like, you're so dumb. Your second wife has a lot of getting up to speed to do with you because I've put up with a lot. And he goes, well, then you better get busy dying, is how he responded to me. And I was like, why do I have to be dead? And he's like, because you have to be dead. Like, that's what's going to happen. You will die, and then I can get a second wife.
In an Italian's mind.
There's death involved. There's never just like, yeah. I'm like, you can divorce me and go get a second wife. He's like, no.
Even when I have fantasies, you sit there and I have fantasies like, oh yeah, Serena's funeral.
At the funeral. You got to hand it to Italian men. There's that deep-rooted guilt in there somewhere.
Yeah,
so it's like, I'll take it. Whatever it takes to manipulate you.
What you're breathing.
Because if you're breathing and I'm out here doing this, then I know you're out there doing that. And I don't like that. Exactly. So you have to be dead.
Exactly. God,
I know. I got your number.
The other day, I knew about this ahead of time, but Adam finally brought up that he and Lynette, after 25 years, they're divorced. They're in the throes of it.
What?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
That's how quiet I kept it. You didn't even know it. Yeah, here's the thing, and I'm not going to get into it because it's not my deal. Two amazing people.
Yeah.
Two amazing people. They had a 25-year run, and
that's a pretty good run.
Yeah.
I think Lauren and I are going to be the people who will wait till we're like 80, and then we'll split up, and people will be like, "Why?" We'll be like, "Well, I just got so sick of them."
If you guys break up, that means anyone can break up.
Anyone can break up, though. That's the thing. People are on their journeys. It's all right. I'm sorry to hear that about them, but it's none of our business, and we don't know what goes. You don't know what goes on in a relationship. I'll tell you that much. Are you playing a divorce song?
No, I'm looking up something else.
Liz Phair's divorce. Can I ask you Bob Zimmer's question? Who, by the way, got really great blood work, and he gave you a little super fan donation. And somebody else on my birthday wrote me, they're like, I'm donating to Vinny's super fan in honor of your birthday. And I was like, donate to my super fan.
Hey, Anna,
Actually, I don't have a super fan.
Can I tell you how much he gave me? I saw it come in.
Yeah.
$88. So
yeah. Do you know why?
I was like, did he lose $88?
No,
no. Was that his blood sugar, or
it was his average fasting blood sugar?
I was trying to figure out what it was. It was like 88.
He wrote me a note. Let me read it.
Yeah, Bob never lost that kind of weight.
No.
I got like a $52 one. I got someone lost like
somebody else on May 9th gave you a donation on behalf of my birthday. So
oh, cool.
Let's see. I'm gonna read his statement, and then I'm gonna read his question.
Okay.
Oh, my nose got itchy. Tell Vinny, thanks for the NSNG way of eating. I've been tracking my blood work regularly since starting NSNG, and this week was the first time my doc had zero, quote, recommendations for eating less red meat, etc. Just said, quote, looks good. See you in 6 months. I'm going to superfan $88 in honor of my super low LDL score. Oh, it's his LDL. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm calculating the A1C correctly or not, but averaging glucose over the last 2 tests. And he gave me his blood work, which, since he sent me the blood work, I'm going to go ahead and violate his HIPAA rights and say his A1C averages between 4.7 to 4 to 5. So his most recent one looks like it was 4.8. Good for you, Bob.
Anna, can I say this?
Yeah.
Since we're bragging,
mm-hmm.
With my recent blood test,
yeah,
I went for blood and I did the calcium score and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Zero and the whole thing, because according to Dr. Grieger, I should have been dead years ago, but I still have a 0 calcium scan. Yeah. Serena just happened to be looking at my blood test deeper than I would look.
Right.
Take a guess at where my triglycerides were.
48.
27. Okay.
That's awesome.
Anna, since we were talking about the Corolla sad news, I got a bit more sad news that we got to talk about.
Oh my God.
Bill,
should I not ask Bob's question yet? You want to talk sadness?
Let's save Bob's question.
Okay.
Because this is on my mind. It's a sad time. It's a very sad time.
Yes.
Bill, I'm sorry, but I have to do this. Have they come out and said how she died yet?
No, I don't think. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, they were being pretty quiet about it. Look, I feel sorry for these chicks. Her, Bobby Brown, a lot of these girls. They became stars because of videos.
Yeah.
Rock videos. Tawny being one of the most famous, Bobby Brown being right there next to her. Do you know who Bobby Brown was? Anna?
Yeah.
Who was she?
Talked about Bobby Brown.
Who's Bobby Brown?
She's a lady. And you're not talking about Bobby Brown from Poison. No. I mean, from Belle Biv DeVoe, who sang the song Poison.
No. I'm talking about Bobby Brown that was in a famous video. Do you know who I'm talking about now?
No.
Let me pull it up. Sorry, Bill. It's the Monday show. I'll only do this on a Monday show. See, I say sorry, Bill, because he's got to go clean these out of the
Video Vix. Oh, cherry pie.
Yeah.
Should have known that.
See if we can find it here.
Oh, I got to voice the ads for the Warrant Skid Row concert.
Really?
So, yeah.
Bobby Brown. I feel sorry for those girls because they're a big flash in the pan.
Wait, Tawny Katane married David Coverdale.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Okay, Tawny Katane had a sordid past. Now, by the way, I don't have anything. I don't have Wikipedia open in front of me. I can tell you this. She was married to David Coverdale. She dated Jerry Seinfeld. And if you remember, she was on an episode or two of Seinfeld. I think she dated or married a baseball player and then beat the shit out of him down in San Diego. She was a rough character, man. She had a rough life. Pretty rough life. And of course, the baseball
player. She was in
did,
Jack LaLanne television commercials in the early 80s.
Oh, yeah. She was everywhere. She was
on the cover of Rat-Tata's album.
But the most famous thing she did was a split on the hood of a Jaguar and that one video, and that was it.
She had a year-long affair with O.J. Simpson while he was married to Nicole Brown Simpson.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Come on. The woman, when I said sordid past, you thought I was saying that lightly? Oh, no.
So O.J. Simpson murdered Nicole Brown Simpson.
No, they've never caught, hang on. They've never caught the murderer, Anna.
You're
O.J. is out there right now looking for the murderer.
I think he's busy looking for himself.
He's been looking on every golf course in this country to find the murderer. He even went to jail for a while to see if the murderer was in jail.
Yeah, no, in the Vegas jail.
All over. I mean, OJ has been
any jail,
homing
all of the jails he's been in.
Every gin joint, golf course, jail. OJ is still looking for who chopped his wife's head off. Can't find her. Can't find him. I said her. Who knows what the gender was? All up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows, Anna.
That's right. It's a mystery.
It's a huge mystery. Anyway, no, Tony Katane, man, she made the round. I mean, come on, David Coverdale, OJ, Jerry Seinfeld. This girl made the rounds, bro.
Girl, she lived a lot of life in her 59 years.
And by the way, didn't look too good towards the end. I'm wondering if she had any kind of.
They said the cause of death was not immediately known, but she died May 7th. I guess it wasn't announced for a couple of days. But the thing is, she was so famous for being this video model, and I'm sure she appeared in some things, but there's no way she made a lot of money doing any of that. No, that's the shitty thing that people don't understand. Just because somebody was super famous doesn't mean they have any money to support things. And then, what are they going to do?
And that's what I used to say about living in New Orleans. I was on the radio. I was doing television. I was doing the local fitness guy on television and WDSU and all these different things, NBC affiliate. I had a radio show and I had no money. Yeah. So people was like, hey, we'd like to take you out to, Galatoire's tonight and this and that and the whole thing. And I was like, God, I hope they're paying because, I'm trying to cover rent. And it's like, man, we love you on the radio. And we think, we love when you do that piece in the afternoon on TV and the whole thing. People think when you're on the TV or on the radio. Yeah. And I was on a couple of billboards and that kind of thing. And I was like, and I was just getting by. I was paying my car note. I was paying, college and all kinds of stuff. And people just assume that, you're on television, you're on radio, you are loaded. Nope. And I was like, oh, wait, we're going to Commander's Palace? You invited me, right? Yeah. Does this work? And, I would always try to pull money out, but I didn't have any money. I was broke back then. And, that's where I learned to start hanging on to every dime I had. But no, the Tony Katanes of the world, look, I was on one of the biggest infomercials that we can't even find. I keep hoping Kurt Lapierre or one of these people would find it. Leopard. It was called It was called the Body Plus Fitness Machine. It was the Gladiator. The Gladiators were big back then. It was like 91, 92. It was put out by a guy named Packy McFarland through a company called Reel to Reel, meaning real, R-E-A-L, to real, R-E-E-L. And we were looking for it. We even tried to get in touch with Packy for my first movie. We were going to put it in there. It was one of the top selling products. And I was in that half an hour thing. People thought, it was like, oh my God, you're making bank. It's like, no, I made about $6,000. I was going to say they paid you a buyout and that was it. And there's nothing else. And they go, wow, you got $6,000 for one day of work. Yes, because when you're doing commercials, you may not get another job for 3 months.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
And
I'm gonna
back
go do,
then, that $6,000 was a good chunk of change, but it's still like,
yeah, you
know.
would have to dole it out. And, you know, I would, you know, some models will go, I don't do $1,000 day
and by
shoots.
the
I
way,
did.
they don't do $6,000 buyouts anymore, just so as you know.
What do they do
It's
now?
now even worse. I don't know, the about a year or so ago, it was before pandemic, maybe a year and a half ago. What's the one, the NutriBullet or the Ninja Tornado?
There
I
is
don't
a
know, some
Ninja
blender.
and yeah.
One of those two. I don't remember which one. They called me and they were like, "We want you to voice the infomercial." And I was like, "Great." And then they were like, "But it's $500." And I was like, because it's only going to air for like 5 seconds on the web. Like, what are you talking about? $500. And they're like, no, that's the whole buyout. And I was like, nope.
Sorry. Yeah. Go get a beginner. You know, it's, I mean, people think, oh, you go to Hollywood. It's like, you know, yeah, I made 6 figures every year as a model when I was doing it, but I had a little something called hustle, and a lot of it. I did jobs nobody else would dare to do.
Right.
Yeah, look, that.
And by the way, when you're super famous like Tawny Katane, they're going to be telling her not to do certain jobs.
Right. And
because it'll ruin her image or whatever. And then she misses out on making money.
By the way, because she probably met Coverdale on that shoot, the video shoot, she probably only got $500 for that. That's about what they pay.
Yeah, for a day on a music video. Yeah.
Like when
and there's no residuals. It's not union. There's no like
buyout.
It's a buyout.
I was lucky enough that I had a good agent that would get me on. Like back then, there was still a lot of print modeling.
Yeah. And
she would get me a lot of that stuff. A lot of stuff went to Germany and Europe and all over the world. And it was like $1,000, 11, 12. And my deal was,
it adds up. Yeah.
It adds up. And that's how I made a living. You know,
absolutely. That's still how I make a living, is cobbling it together from.
Same here.
I don't pass on any jobs.
Same here.
Except for the $500 NutriBullet thing. I was like, really? For a national brand that everyone recognizes, you're going to run that thing all over the place? You have $500 to pay the talent?
Let's talk about the most famous person, Flo, who you quasi knew because,
Oh, yeah.
Flo, who does, is it Progressive?
Progressive.
First
and I know the Maytag man, and I know how much they all make.
Yeah. And by the way, I will bet, and of course you're not going to say anything, but I will bet the first couple of years of Flo doing that, she probably had a buyout deal where she didn't make any money.
Yeah. I think for Jan from Toyota too is another friend of mine. You know, basically the Laurel Kopic is her name, but Jan, the Toyota lady.
I don't know that one.
She's brunette lady, thin, pale skin brunette lady, but and Milana, the AT&T girl. I know her too.
I know that one.
I know all the commercial. I know all the
scandal with her that she was like in porn or something, but she wasn't really, or
the little AT&T girl, Milana.
Yeah.
No. She's younger than I am.
Yeah. But I think, wait, what's her name? Look her up, Anna. What's her name?
No, Milana.
All right, give me her name. Spell it. Malana.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna look it up too.
Milana what?
Weintraub. Vayntrub.
Okay, yeah, I got it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that girl supposedly did, like, there was a scandal that she was in porn.
Oh.
So put in Milana Weintraub and then put porn behind it and see what comes up.
It's not on her Wikipedia page.
It is or not?
No, it's not.
But
yeah, I think when you first start, before they realize it's going to be a whole campaign, they have you go at scale, meaning you make the union minimums until they can negotiate.
Anna, anyway, we went way off the reservation.
We went way off the rails. Can I ask Bob Zimmer's question?
Yeah, we need to get back to Bob Zimmer. Speaking of hot looking chicks, Bob Zimmer. He's like a hot looking chick.
If Vinny is taking questions for the Monday show, I have one. Shirtless Chef has one. He loves the shirtless chef.
Hashtag shirtless chef.
You can't.
Come on, Bob.
JK, we call ourselves the queen of all cooking and the king of all fitness. You
Yeah.
can call yourself the shirtless chef.
Yeah. Go on, Bob. You're good.
I just booked a last minute beach vacation. I have 2 weeks before I head to the Gulf Coast of Florida. After getting fully vaccinated, I went back to the gym March 7th after literally a year off. I was maintaining 174 pounds at home using bands, etc. As of today, I am maintaining 182 pounds, so an 8-pound gain in muscle in 2 months. Question is, I want to have the Vinnie conch shell midsection for the beach, but I don't want to lose any of my muscle gains. What's the best way to trim it up without sacrificing muscle, or is 2 weeks simply not reasonable? Thanks.
He answered the question right there at the end. He can do the best he can, but 2 weeks, man. Look, back when I used to do the conch shell stuff, bottom line, Anna, I was always in shooting distance. I was always within, striking distance of being there. So all I had to do was just cut out water for the day before, and the whole thing just.
I was going to say, for modeling, isn't there dehydration tricks you do that you wouldn't normally recommend people just to go on the beach to do that?
My dehydration trick was, the day before I would go to the gym and just sweat. I would sweat just by getting on the elliptical machine or the spinner or whatever, and just sit there for 2 hours, and then kind of starve myself. I would drink a little water at night and the whole thing. The next morning, I wouldn't drink a lot of water, that kind of thing. But I was already ripped, right? You can't do it in 2 weeks. You're gonna take a lot of muscle with it. It's just a fact. It's a fact. There's no way around that. Now, if you want to,
how would you take a lot of muscle with it? I don't understand.
Well, if he wants to continue to tighten up for 2 weeks, that'll happen. If you just keep going to the gym, keep trying to put a little muscle on, don't eat any carbohydrates. Just get really, really strict about your diet.
Just go carnivore for 2 weeks.
Carnivore-ish, cut down on whipping cream and that kind of stuff. Just make sure you're getting enough protein. So yeah, you're basically talking carnivore-ish.
Can you still do leafy greens and cruciferous?
Yeah. But I would go lighter. I would have a lot more eggs, chicken eggs. I would have a lot more chicken. I would have a lot more red meat and fish. I would just choke all that down for 2 weeks. That's going to bring you in as tight as you can get without losing any muscle. Of course, you're still working out during that time, right? But no, there's no way to just, people ask me that question on phone calls all the time. How can I get down vacation in 2 weeks, 3 weeks? It's like, man, just stay on the course, because you're going to end up screwing yourself up. Guys ask me that more than women.
Well, because are you saying you'll restrict so much leading up to the vacation, then you go on vacation, you eat like dog shit because you've been.
Like, yeah, I've been doing. It's kind of like a woman at the reception after the wedding. It's like,
right.
Finally I fit into this dress. So where's the cake?
Yeah.
Bring on the sweet drink. Boom. You have to do what you have to do. Period. But don't go crazy.
Okay.
My rule: start slow and then slow down a bit. So
can I ask one more question from Mike Gomez?
We have
to, or are we done?
Let's do one more, because who's here right now? Missy Langford came to visit.
Well, that's nice.
We're having dinner tonight.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
having a late dinner.
If Joe dies, let's say Joe was out, hunting. Gun got caught up in a briar bush. One thing leads to another, and
a briar bush sounds painful.
Yeah, it's not good.
First, I just want to tell everybody about Cappelli olive oil.
Yeah, tell me all about it, and then we're going to get one more question.
You know what? I was texting with Steven. Next week, I'm going to do a clubhouse with him. Oh, and you and I, we have to tell people, because we are putting this podcast on YouTube. We're filming it. Last week, we filmed cooking, and I used Cappelli olive oil to make that Spanish style cauliflower rice.
She did, folks. It was on a video. You can watch it.
So many people have tweeted me saying, I wrote down what you made and I made it, and my family loved it. And I was like, yeah, I know, because it's good food. because we're making good food. And I promise you now, once a month at least, I'll podcast from the kitchen. I'll cook something and make Vinny crazy.
It was delicious, Anna. What you were making,
it was so good. It was a really good dinner, I gotta say. And then we had a little tequila at the end.
We did. It was good.
Steven is sending a lot more products stateside. And next week, I'm going to interview him on Clubhouse. So and by the way, they opened up Clubhouse to Android users. So if you need an invite, post in the Vinnie Tortorich group or in the Eat Happy group that you need an invite, somebody has one. And I get some, they send me a couple every day because I guess I'm hosting a bunch of rooms in there. But Villa Cappelli, he's sending a bunch more stuff, but they still have the 3-liter tins, and hopefully he's sending even more. Get that. Get the olive oil. I cook practically everything in it. Here's what I use. I use every day Villa Cappelli. I use coconut oil, and then for stuff for Laura and I will use butter. That's what I cook stuff in. It's really simple. It's not rocket science. But Villa Cappelli almost every day because I make a leafy green salad or I saute a vegetable. So it enters my body on is that a catch in my throat?
Are you going to make it, Anna?
Yeah, I just died.
Anna dies.
If I just died, Lauren's a free man. He's ready to go find that second wife.
Yeah.
Get your hands on Villa Cappelli olive oil. Go to villacappelli.com. Click oil. Get all the oil that you want to get. Get the spices. Get the he still has the almond flour. That's a great deal. That's cheaper than grocery store almond flour. Get the powders. All the things. Use the discount code Vinnie, VINNIE, and you'll get 10% off your order every single time. Do the same thing that we're talking about with Belcampo. Make sure you order extra so that you qualify for the free shipping even after using the discount. And it's like getting an extra discount. And Stephen hates that I do that every time, but I just want to tell you guys how to save money. Game the system.
We're not about the people who pay us. We're about you guys. So,
well, listen. At eathappykitchen.com, where the marinara is, I make no bones about it. It's cheaper to buy a case because if you're buying a case, then I can eat the shipping on that. It's a much better deal. So if the more you buy, the easier it is for the vendor to compensate for the shipping because it is expensive to ship all this heavy stuff. I've learned that. Here's the question. Let me get the question from Mike Gomez. Mike Gomez asks, question for the next Monday show. I have trouble with willpower. My mom's birthday was on Mother's Day. Happy birthday. We're birthday twins.
Yeah.
And had bagels and cake and candy. Tried to have strong ball coffee. I don't know what that means, but kept craving the carbs. Any tips would stay clear of these situations? Any tips would help, maybe is what he meant to say. I don't know.
Look, you can't stay clear of Mother's Day, and look, I have a rule, and I always say it doesn't matter what you eat between Christmas and New Year's, it's what you eat between New Year's and Christmas. Now, what that means is, whenever you do something, you do it during a holiday or you do it around a special occasion, weddings, funerals for some people. Mother's Day. I'm no saint. I live in dietary ketosis most of the time. I've done whole years of no life into living.
Meaning no bites of sugars or grains at all.
And I'm going to be honest with you. People go, how do you do that? And I'll go, well, it's a lot easier on those years because I make the decree on January 1st and that's it. And I don't touch it. And it's freeing for me. I get it. Something happens and it's someone's birthday or whatever, and you have a piece of cake, and then all the way home, all you're thinking about is that cake. My thing is, I will have an espresso or something when I get home. I'll do something to cut off that feeling and just move on. It's not easy. It's not easy. I'll be honest.
You got to get right back on the next meal.
Yeah.
Don't spend all that time beating yourself up too.
It doesn't help. You've done it. Just move on. Your liver, will process it. You'll come around in several hours and you just move on. Don't let it become, oh, well, I screwed up. Therefore I suck. And I'm going to just do this forever. Just do it. Enjoy it. Don't think of it as, oh, I've been a bad boy. And next thing you know, you've moved on and you're fine.
I would invite people to think about the concept of willpower as being almost, nobody has willpower when you eat sugar because it's designed to be addictive. So you eat more sugar. So it's not about like you having willpower to overcome it. It's about going, okay, I know that I'm making an educated choice. It's Mother's Day. I'm going to have some of the cake or the bagel or whatever the thing is and eat it. And then you almost like you're making that line of demarcation before you eat it instead of going, all right, screw it, I'll eat it. And then you're like, and you become the sugar beast eating all the things.
Right.
And you're not wrong or undisciplined or without willpower. It's just you didn't set boundaries in advance. And this is part of the learning process too. It's not like you're like, oh, I'm NSNG. I'm perfect now. And I've reached my final form of the way I eat. It's like, no, it's going to be fluid and it's going to be evolving. And
this is not some kind of trickery or some kind of diet that you're on for 5 minutes. This is a lifestyle, man.
Yeah. And part of the lifestyle is having sugar again and then figuring out how to not have that sugar again. And I always say, after 9 years of doing this with you, 100% of people have a bite of sugar again. 100%.
Just do it.
And so, do it, move on. And don't beat yourself up. But it's hard because diet mentality wants to train us that we are bad if we do the thing. Yeah. And we're good if we do the other things.
So they have to blame it on you. It's like, well, our diet didn't fail. You failed.
Right.
No, if you guys aren't doing the right thing with me, we talk about it and we get it straight. And that's just the way it is. And Anna, we'll make that the last word, except for the fact that you guys have to go and get Eat Happy, the cookbook, Eat Happy 2, the cookbook, and Eat Happy Kitchen. You're going to be eating happy all over the place, right?
I have these beautiful sample jars of sauce, and we're still just waiting for the USDA state of Tennessee. But there's a new guy. Here's where it's so crazy to me. There's one new guy in the entire state of Tennessee. There's one guy who approved recipes with pH test and the moisture test, right?
Right.
He moved on. There's a new guy. This whole thing is resting on the fulcrum of the new guy. Like we're just waiting. And it's so funny how like a whole manufacturing thing, a whole little cottage industry,
I know,
resting on one guy in the state of Tennessee, do his approval and send it back. But as soon as that happens, we're manufacturing the 2 new sauces, and the spice mixes are well on their way as well. And it's a process, but it's happening. I can't wait to launch everything and have like a full line of flavors, Yeah. I'm very excited about that.
So go check out everything Anna's doing at annavocino.com and go check out Eat Happy Kitchen. You're going to love it. This show was video recorded. You can see it on YouTube. Once a month, Anna's going to do something from the kitchen. So you want to tune in for that one. But we all go shopping on Amazon. Before you go to Amazon, please go to vinnietortorich.com. It throws a little coal on my fire, and I'm able to get the train down the track. And we've been doing that for a lot of years. I do not realize any of that money myself. This money goes into the podcast. It goes into you guys getting a free podcast. And since Amazon does not pay us what they used to, we've been talking about the Superfan page. And by the way, you don't have to be like Bob Zimmer and give us $88 or whatever. Whenever people lose weight, they give us whatever they lost. It's kind of a cute thing. Most people, they do $5 or $10, sometimes recurring contributions, sometimes one time, whatever you can afford. It's appreciated because it goes into other people finding this show. And I was able to keep everyone employed throughout the whole pandemic because of you guys. So thank you for that.
And I got to say, let me just give a little plug too for like the best way too that people find out about the show is y'all telling your friends. And if somebody's asking you what you're doing, please share the show with them. Share the documentary a documentary and Fat 2 with them. Share our work. That's the best. The word of mouth that you guys do is what we're basically depending on.
Anna, can I say this? I'm glad you brought that up because
You can say whatever you want. It's your show, baby.
Yeah, it is. People would always say, hey, yeah, of course, I do the phone calls and I say, how did you learn about me? And for a couple of years, it was like, well, of course, Corolla. And now the biggest thing I hear from people is like, hey, man, I was just fumbling through Amazon and found your movie. That's the number one way people are finding this podcast now is from Fata Documentary and Fata Documentary 2. So, yeah, look, we're finding new audiences all the time. And there's a new movie coming out. I'm departing from the whole fat idea, but I'm moving into a different idea. And I think you guys are going to like what I have coming. So hang in there. There's more movies coming up. I'm working on it.
Do we have an ETA of a release yet?
I want it to come out. I always put, I want it to come out before the end of this year. I put very, very hard constraints on myself and then try to work to it.
That's a lot, Vin. You just came out with a movie before this.
Oh, it takes some people 10 years to come out with a documentary. But as you know, I live, everything to me is like an ultra, right? I'm a guy I'll say, all right, now look, it might be after the first of the year, but I said I'd like to be out by Thanksgiving, and I'm working daily to do that and, driving myself crazy doing it. But it's my commitment. And look, whenever I do, a rant about what I'm seeing in the airports and everything else, I'm not blaming those people. I'm blaming what these commercial companies and everyone else is doing. And it drives me nuts. And I can yell about it and do nothing, or I can yell about it and do something. And my commitment has been the book, 5 podcasts a week, talking to people until I'm blue in the face on the telephone, and now 3 movies. So, and by the way, I'm getting ready to release Monty, and we'll be talking about that. My book that was released, my children's book years ago, I'm re-releasing it through Telemachus Press, and we'll get that guy on the show and everything else. So I got a lot going on. I don't stop. People go, you get lucky a lot. It's like, no, I don't. I get work a lot. I get my ass up in the morning.
Well, the harder you work, the luckier you get.
That's the way I put it.
And by the way, the Clubhouses, again, I'm really imploring you guys to get on Clubhouse, because here's what's happening. I'm hosting a weekly Clubhouse Mondays from 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific, and Tuesday mornings in the Keto for the Soul room. One's the Eat Happy Club that I have. One's the Keto for the Soul room, which is a mainstream keto room. And here's what's happening. People are able to get up and we can talk. Like that, Vinny and I can't do. We can talk. You can talk about what your goals are. You can talk about what your questions are. You can talk about what's going on in your life. I get to hear your voice, which I love. We get to connect, and it's keeping people on track. That's the thing. So if you feel like you're alone, or maybe you're the only one in your house, get on those Clubhouses. I'm telling you, it's just an hour a week, and you just get on there. I'm doing them. I just want more ways to reach out to everybody. And it seems like Vinny and I were talking off the air that things are really fragmented with social media. It's kind of like the algorithm directs you toward what it thinks, and so like maybe some people might hear things on Facebook, maybe some people might hear things on Twitter, Clubhouse, all the things. So we're trying to hit it from as many angles as possible, because at the beginning of this year, Vinny and I doubled down of like, we're going to reach 1 million more people. We want to reach 1 million more people. And part of that in Clubhouse is going in the mainstream keto rooms, because it's a different world out there and folks aren't familiar. And so I get to go on and talk about, hey, get Vinny's documentary, make sure you watch that and talk about that. You know what I mean? And with folks who wouldn't ordinarily maybe rendezvous with that information. So get on there. If you're feeling at all like you need some support, that's a really good free way to do it.
Anna, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Great. That's great.
Said it at all. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. Folks, on behalf of Anna Vocino, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living